After news of the catastrophic flooding affecting northern Yellowstone National Park and south-central Montana spread, people began to ask if all of this would affect seismicity in and around Yellowstone. The answer to that question is that it probably won't have much effect. However, that doesn't mean the network of more than 40 seismometers in the area doesn't record actual flooding. In fact, many stations saw an increase in the amplitude of the ground shaking as floodwaters rose. This is not visible on the web recorders that you can view online. One has to do some processing to actually see the signal from the flood, as the amplitude is relatively small and overprinted by a much larger signal from things like wind, trees, traffic, and background noise. This processing involves filtering the data to emphasize frequencies between 1 to 1.5 Hz, where the flood signal is most clearly visible. The two seismometers close to the river that are most affected by increased snowmelt and precipitation are YSB Station near Soda Butte in northeast Yellowstone and YUF Station near Yellowstone River Upper Falls. YSB Station is about 0.3 miles, about 0.5 kilometers, from Soda Butte Creek. Soda Butte Creek is the main tributary of the Lamar River. There is a USGS flow meter on the Lamar River just upstream from where it flows into the Yellowstone River. Data from this monitor shows that prior to June 12, the Lamar River was at around 8,000 to 9,000 cubic feet per second, CFS, and is showing a daily increase as warm daytime temperatures increase snowmelt into the river. However, starting late June 12 and early June 13, there was a strong positive spike in discharge, culminating in a peak discharge of around 21,000 CFS on June 13. At the same time, the overall amplitude of the seismic signal at the YSB station increases from a peak of about plus or minus 5 counts to plus or minus 15 counts. Count is the amplitude value of the raw seismic data coming out of the seismometer. This is caused by an increase in river flow, which causes vibrations in the ground, which then propagate through the earth and are recorded at the nearest seismic station. YUF Station is about 0.6 miles, 1 kilometer, from Yellowstone River Upper Falls. The closest flow meter is actually where the Yellowstone River exits Yellowstone Lake and begins to flow north. Unlike on the Lamar River, gauges at the Yellowstone Lake outlet recorded a steady increase in discharge over time. Although the pace increased from June 12 to 13. Overall, the discharge increased by a total of about 1,200 CFS from June 11 to 16. The reason why there is no obvious spike on this gauge, like there is on the Lamar River gauge, is probably because it's at the outlet of Yellowstone Lake, and the large increase in flow is somewhat buffered by the lake. However, the seismic signal at the YUF station was similar in amplitude, increasing from the background by about plus or minus 250 counts before June 12 and peaked at plus or minus 500 counts on June 13. In contrast to the seismic signal at YSB, the seismic amplitude did not return to its pre-flood amplitude but remained at around plus or minus 375 counts until June 16. This is because, unlike the Lamar River, the discharge in the Yellowstone River is higher. Value, approximately 4,600 CFS, instead of dropping to pre-flood values. Again, this could be due to the influence of Yellowstone Lake. However, although we have not observed an increase in seismicity due to an increase in the amount of water, the seismic network at Yellowstone clearly records the signal associated with catastrophic flooding in the area through increased noise generated by the river. And although we shouldn't expect any effect on seismicity, an increase in the amount of water can have an impact on the hydrothermal system. A case in point might be Steamboat Geyser, which erupted on June 20, 2022, just less than 10 days and 4 hours since the previous eruption. This is the shortest time between eruptions of Steamboat Geyser since April 2021. Does the increase in rainfall have anything to do with the relatively short interval? Time will tell.